here in 2025, we can't just calm down and be content with these differences. Because, A, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't do anything about it, so just put it out of your mind.
Well, I don't know that people actually involved in anything physical are sharing that concern.
Probably not.
No, these are people who have no practical experience,
who have never done a sport in their life.
Live in a fantasy world that's online or in a sedentary environment. That's precisely where those ideas
I would
live.
agree with that. It's if you are puzzled about why the LPGA and the PGA turn in different levels of performance, you're not playing in the LPGA or the PGA. Now, are you?
Yeah, and they forget to ask if any of the women would like to compete against the men.
Yeah.
Because the answer will be almost 100% no.
No, they don't want to do that. They can putt with them, but other than that, there's just not a.
So no matter
it's not an issue, because people who are actually genuinely involved in physically hard things are not puzzled by this at all. This is just something to argue about in colleges and universities.
And the only place it gets shaky, and again, this is just a matter of practical experience, but no amount of hormone replacement or hormone reduction in either direction equalizes for natural athleticism.
No.
That's why for the people confused, that's why the vertical jump discussion is relevant. You cannot make a female as athletic as a male, all things being equal,
right?
In any way, because the structure just isn't there.
You know,
the neurological and structure and just an actual bone structure is not there. They're not big enough. They're not tall enough.
Millions of years of evolution has made it that way.
Yes. Caitlyn Jenner still has a big vertical jump. I'm sorry. That thing has a big vertical jump because that was one of the most amazing athletes in history.
But the important thing is, because he's been involved in this, he understands the differences between men and women.
He knows damn good and well.
He does not believe that men should be competing with women on any level.
No, I've heard him say that because he is intimately involved himself in the discussion. And you ought to pay attention to what he says. Because he knows damn good and well. You know, what was that, 35, 40 years ago that he was competing at that level?
In the 80s, right?
Yeah.
It was in the 80s, I
30s,
think.
40 years ago.
The guy was a physical genius. He was not just good at everything. He was amazing at everything he did. He threw the 16-pound shot 50 feet. And not at the body weight that a shot putter who competes strictly in the shot would have weighed. And you know, he was just good at all of that stuff because he's a physical genius. And that is just one of those deals that occasionally occurs. But it occurs. It's not manufactured. It occurs. And part of that physical ability is the fact that he probably had a higher than normal testosterone secretion in utero. That could have been. I'm just guessing at that, but it could have been. At any rate, he was a boy. And boys are better at things like that than girls. And they always have been and they always will be. And this is not even worth discussing. Because everybody all over the world, except in the faculty lounges of colleges and universities, already understands this. They already understand it. It's not even a point of discussion. You go in a bar in Russia, they know this, don't they?
Probably better than we do.
Oh, yeah. Of course they do. You go to the outback of Australia, and if they have bars in the outback of Australia, then everybody in the bar knows that men hit the golf ball further than women do. And it's a duh thing, right? It's not a point of conversation. It's just understood. It's like 2 + 2 = whatever that number is. That's what it is. So the bottom line here is that men and women are different in terms of neuromuscular efficiency. Their secondary sexual characteristics are irrelevant to the primary sexual characteristics that were inherited by virtue of the presence of those secondary sexual characteristics. And while there's a range in men and women, that range overlaps at the top of the women's performance and the bottom of the men's performance. There are lots of women who are better at this shit than lots of men. Okay?
If I were to go compete against the best women in CrossFit, I would get my ass handed to me.
Yes, you would.
I would be destroyed.
Yes, you would. But by the same token, the best male CrossFitters are going to beat the best female CrossFitters.
100%, yes.
And this is interesting to me. It's interesting that something so fundamentally biological has been allowed to become political. Why is so much time and energy spent on this? Well, all right. Men's and women's sports. Okay. Men and women's sports is based on all of our previous discussion is wrong.
Who's still arguing for this, though? Is it?
I think
it's out of
There are states
It's out of the Olympics now.
that permit their school systems
I am seeing
to
less and
engage
less.
in this bullshit.
I'm seeing less and less arguments against it. I think a lot of people are pushing back so hard.
A lot of people should be pushing back so hard because if boys get girls' scholarships to go to college and play sports, then boys are favorably treated with respect to women. Now, what is all this Title IX shit we had all those years ago that prevented
This from happening.
How come that's no longer?
What I'm seeing more and more in media and social media and stuff. The only time I hear about this is whenever young girls are taking a stand against it and not competing. So I think there is a paradigm shift happening,
and that's the only way this is going to change.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we've said this a number of times. It's not fair. It's not fair to our girls to let boys wearing dresses or long hair or jewelry or painted fingernails or whatever. It's not fair to let them in the women's division.
So the NCAA,
because there are fundamental differences.
The NCAA
does not allow males in the women's division.
Correct.
Congenital males in the women's division.
Yeah, the NCAA does. The Olympics don't anymore, do they? Or do they? I don't know.
That was all under discussion a while back. I don't know what was decided by the
USAPL,
the IOC, the fucking assholes. That just
the USA. Does the USAPL still even exist?
I don't know.
So right here it says transgender athletes are currently allowed to compete in the Olympic Games and Paralympics if cleared to compete by their respective federations.
And that's usually determined by their standing testosterone level, right?
Oh, here.
You have to be below a certain level of testosterone.
This is,
and then you're a girl, right?
It has been mandated that the transition must be completed before age limit of 12. That was in the Paris 2024 rules.
And that's bullshit.
It is.
That's complete bullshit, too.
Well, the all thing that says is, hey, you're allowed to abuse your kid, and then we'll let them come into the Olympics.
That's exactly right. Join us this week on Starting Strength Radio. We're going to have a terribly sharp, pointed discussion about training men and training women and the differences in training men and training women, why those differences are in existence, and what you need to know to comply with the rules of biology this week on Starting Strength Radio.